Good afternoon. Welcome to another college basketball live stream here on YouTube at Sports Bonanza John and on Kick at Sports Kick John. We are set for a top 10 matchup in the Big Ten. Number 9, Illinois. Number 5, Nebraska. A big matchup. We'll preview this game in just a moment. First of all, let's pray. Lord Jesus, thank you for this day. Thank you for looking upon us, Lord. And please look over these players, fans. Please keep everyone safe, Lord. And please continue to look over us, Lord, and protect us as we all. And I pray this in your name. Amen. All right, the Illini and the Cornhuskers. The Cornhuskers coming in 20-1, having suffered their first loss of the season this past Tuesday in Ann Arbor against Michigan. They come in at 20-1 on the season, 9-1 in Big Ten play. The number 9 ranked Fighting Illini of Illinois coming in 18-3, also 9-1 in Big Ten play. Nebraska defeated Illinois in Champaign back in mid-December. That's been about a month and a half ago. That was Illinois' last loss. They have not lost since. Illinois has ran off 10 wins in a row since that home loss to Illinois, and they look to give a little bit of payback to the Huskers for that loss in Champaign that they suffered back in mid-December in conference play. That was an 83-80 final score in Champaign in that game. The Illini have 5 players that average in double figures. This is a team that scores 85 points a game. Keaton Wagler, leading scorer on the season for Illinois. He averages just shy of 18 a game at 17.7. Meanwhile, this Nebraska team puts up just shy of 81 points a game. They've got 4 players that average in double figures. Bryce Sanford, the leading scorer for this Nebraska team, he averages 17.4 a contest. So this should be a doozy, a 3-point game in the previous matchup in Champaign. So this should be a doozy of a top 5 matchup. Nebraska starts to look to start another winning streak after having suffered their first loss of the season to the Michigan Wolverines this past Tuesday. And the Illini look to extend their winning streak to 11 in a row, as we are just about to get this one underway from Pinnacle Bank Arena in Lincoln. Couple other top 25 matchups on the day. And number 12, Purdue, they had been in a funk. They had lost 3 games in a row coming into today, but they took their frustrations out on the Maryland Terrapins out in College Park as Purdue absolutely destroyed Maryland in College Park today. 93-63, that final score. So Purdue finally back on the winning side after a 3-game losing streak. Other Big Ten games tell you about, of course, we had the Purdue game and we've got this game, and we have got a tight one going on in State College between Minnesota and Penn State. Penn State leads Minnesota 73-72. That game has just over a minute remaining out there in College Park. And do want to tell you that this Illinois-Nebraska game, which was slated for 4 o'clock, it is going to be pushed back on tip-off about 10 minutes due to the length of a prior game airing on FS1. Top 25 matchup in women's college ball between TCU and Texas Tech. So with that, we can take a look at this Illinois-Nebraska game going in depth. These two teams tied for second place. Winner will stay tied in a first-place tie in the Big Ten with Michigan. Michigan coming in at 10-1 on the season. These two teams come in at 9-1. Michigan State is at 9-2, as Michigan got the win in East Lansing over Michigan State this past Friday, 2 nights ago. Michigan, fully expect them to go to number 2 in the AP poll tomorrow. Look for them to leapfrog UConn and go to number 2 in the AP poll. And Nebraska, see how far they drop. You figure if they can get this game, even after losing to Michigan on Tuesday, you figure if they can get this game, they may even hold pat at number 5. Nebraska, as we start to talk about bubble talk, NCAA projections, and a couple of the projections I've seen today still have Nebraska projected as a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Illinois right now a projected number 2 seed pretty much across the board. So Nebraska, you figure with the season Michigan is having, if they can get this one, that loss really should not hurt Nebraska all that much. That loss in Ann Arbor they suffered on Tuesday, especially with the kind of season Dusty May and the Michigan Wolverines are having. As Illinois and Nebraska in a top 10 matchup in college basketball this afternoon in Lincoln. This projected to be a tight one. Nebraska enters as a 1.5-point favorite. It took a late three-pointer for Nebraska to beat Illinois in Champaign about a month and a half ago. So we will see, and interesting to see what happens with Illinois this week as well, as they've had a week where they are number 9 in the AP poll this week. In their midweek game, they defeated Washington 75-66. So if Illinois can get this win today in Lincoln against Nebraska, they should probably take a pretty good 2, maybe even 3-point jump in the AP poll this week. As the new AP poll comes out tomorrow, and we'll see where the Big Ten's had a phenomenal season. They've got a lot of teams ranked. They have probably, if one of the 2 at least, best conferences in college basketball this year. Let's take a look at the starting lineups this afternoon for both these teams. Let's start with the Fighting Illini of Illinois. As again, this game has been pushed back 10 minutes to a 4:10 start time. Here's the lineup the Illini will send out. At 1 forward will be number 0, David Merkovic. Merkovic, a 6'9" freshman out of Montenegro. Merkovic on the season 4th leading scorer for the Illini, averaging 12.5 points a game. Another forward for Illinois is number 15, Jake Davis. Jake Davis, a 6'6" junior out of McCordsville, Indiana. Jake Davis on the season averaging just shy of 5 points a game at 4.7. In the middle for Illinois will be number 13, Tomislav Ivisic. A 7'1" junior out of Croatia. Tomislav Ivisic, brothers Zvonimir Ivisic, also on this Illinois team. Tomislav averaging right at 10 points a game this year for the Illini. At 1 guard for Illinois is number 2, Andrei Stojakovic. You've been a fan of basketball over the years, you might know that name, Stojakovic. Okay, didn't know he is the son of former NBA player Peja Stojakovic. Andrei Stojakovic, this 6'7" junior out of Carmichael, California, this season for the Illini. Stojakovic, the 3rd leading scorer, averaging 13.6 points per ballgame. And at the other guard for Illinois is number 23, Keaton Wagler. Wagler, a 6'6" freshman out of Shawnee, Kansas. Wagler, the freshman, is the team's leading scorer at 17.7 a game for the Illini. And the Illini are coached by Brad Underwood. Underwood has this Illini 18-3 on the season and 9-1 in Big Ten play. Starting lineup is as follows for the Cornhuskers of Nebraska. They will start up front with number 9, Burke Buyuktunjul, a 6'10 junior out of Turkey. Buyuktunjul averaging 7.4 points per contest. Another forward for Nebraska, number 21, Price Sanford. Sanford, 6'7 junior out of Waukee, Iowa, leading scorer on this Nebraska team, as Sanford averaging 17.4 points per contest. Also up front for Nebraska is number 51, Rink Mast. Mast, a 6'10 senior out of the Netherlands. Mast on the season, the second leading scorer on the team, averaging 14.6 per game. In the backcourt for Nebraska is number 1, Sam Hoiberg, coach's son. Hoiberg, a 6-foot senior out of Lincoln, Nebraska, hometown kid. Hoiberg averaging 9.2 points per contest. And the other guard for Nebraska is number 10, Jamarcus Lawrence. Lawrence, a 6'3 senior out of Plainfield, New Jersey. Lawrence comes into this game averaging 10.8 points per contest for the Cornhuskers. Nebraska is led by head coach Fred Hoiberg. Fred Hoiberg and the Huskers 20-1 on the season. They are 9-1 in Big Ten play. So again, the lineups are as follows. For Illinois, it'll be Merkovich, Davis, and Tomislav Ivisic up front. Stojakovic and Wagler in the backcourt for Illinois. Nebraska has Buyuktunjul, Sanford, and Mast up front. Hoiberg and Lawrence in the backcourt. Teams are being introduced now as we are getting set to tip this one off in this top 10 matchup in Lincoln between the Illini and the Cornhuskers. Again, the winner of this game will be in a first-place tie in the Big Ten with Michigan at 10-1. Loser will fall into a tie for third with Michigan State in Big Ten play. Got a final now from State College. Penn State held off Minnesota and won that game 77-75. Another Big Ten contest to tip in a little while. Iowa out west in Eugene to take on Oregon. Again, Purdue earlier snapped their 3-game losing streak with a 93-63 win over Maryland. So here we go. Illinois and Nebraska, number 9 versus number 5. Illinois looks to split the season series. Nebraska looks for the series sweep on the season. Looks like a whiteout in Lincoln today. And here's the tip. It is controlled by the Illini. Illini with the game's first possession and a nice pass inside, but backing it back out, and a three-pointer is well short. Rebound pulled down by Nebraska. Huskers with their first possession. Buyuktunjul finds Mast inside. He puts up a tough shot off the side of the backboard, and it's rebounded by the Illini. So both teams empty on their opening possessions. Stojakovic on the drive, passes outside to Davis. Davis now finds Ivisic. And now Keaton Wagler. And now a three-pointer on the way is no good. And it will go out of bounds over to Nebraska. So the Illini have missed their first 2 from the floor. Here come the Cornhuskers for their second possession. Minute old. Mast off to Lawrence. Jamarcus Lawrence starts off the scoring with a three-pointer. and it's 3-0 Nebraska. Merkovic with the ball for the Illini. Merkovic passes across the court to Jake Davis. Jake Davis on the outside, gives it now off to Stojakovic. Stojakovic drives inside the paint, kicks it outside for an open three-pointer that goes for Tomislav Ivičić. And that ties this game at 3. Jamarcus Lawrence with the dribble. Goes inside. Now Sam Hoiberg on the drive with the right hand. Too strong off the glass. Rebound pulled down by Illinois. And Wagler will bring it up the floor for the Illini. Wagler off to Merkovic. Back to Wagler. Wagler drives. Now Wagler kicks it back out to Ivičić. And now it goes to Stojakovic. Stojakovic looks to drive around Lawrence. And a bad pass by Stojakovic, but Illinois gets to the loose ball. Shot clock is at 5. Ivičić on the outside. The Illini are going to have to get a shot off here. 1 on the shot clock. The heave from almost half court hits the side of the backboard, and that'll be a shot clock violation against Illinois. Huskers with it. Buyuk Tunjol gives it off to Price Sanford. Now Rink Mast with it. Just inside the three-point arc. Mast gives it off to Buyuk Tunjol for 3. Back rim, no. Rebound pulled down by Illinois. Back come the Illini. Wagler with it. Bounce pass over to Merkovic. And Merkovic gives it off to Stojakovic, who almost lost it. And now it's Wagler. Back over to Stojakovic. Stojakovic drives inside against a double team, puts it up short, and the rebound pulled down by the Huskers. Good defenses on both sides early on for these two teams. Here's Mast. Mast off to Sanford, who gets his first three-pointer. Nebraska's leading scorer, Price Sanford, with his first 3 points, and it is 6-3 Nebraska. 3.5 minutes old. Here's Wagler. Wagler kicks it outside, and now in the corner, Davis on a 3 is fouled in the corner. And it'll be 3 free throws as Buyuk Tunjol ran right into Davis shooting the three-pointer. So Jake Davis at the line for 3 free throws. Davis, a 75% shooter on the season, and he hits the first of 3. Second free throw for Davis is too strong, and he will have 1 more. Early substitution for the Cornhuskers. Braden Frager enters the game. He's missed the last 2 games, but is back today for Nebraska. Davis misses the third, so he only goes 1 of 3 at the line. It's a 6-4 lead for Nebraska. Lawrence brings it up across the midcourt stripe for the Cornhuskers. Lawrence will pull up from the foul line and miss it too strong. Huskers keep it alive on the offensive glass, and a three-pointer is good. Price Sanford with his second 3, and it's 9-4 in favor of Nebraska. Wagler on the drive. Wagler gets bumped outside. That's going to be a foul on Jamarcus Lawrence. That'll be his first. And we hit our first time out at the 15:42 mark of the first half. Good start for the Cornhuskers, trying to bounce back from their first loss of the season. They've got a 9-4 early lead over the Illini, as they look for the season sweep over Illinois. Well, this is a tough little stretch that the Cornhuskers are on. They faced the number 3 team Michigan and lost on Tuesday. They've got number 9 Illinois here today. Next Saturday, they have traveled to Piscataway to take on Rutgers, but then a week from Tuesday, they've got the 12th ranked Purdue Boilermakers coming in town. So counting the Michigan game from Tuesday, 3 of 4 games against top 12 teams in the country. So this is the little bit of a stretch for Nebraska that was a little daunting. Purdue will be the last ranked team, at least ranked team at the moment, they will face for the remainder of the season. The rest of the schedule after that Purdue game doesn't look quite as daunting. Meanwhile, Illinois, boy, what a roll they're on, winning 10 in a row. They have their rival, the Northwestern Wildcats, coming to the State Farm Center coming up on Wednesday. Illinois beat Northwestern earlier this year by 11. But then next Saturday, the Illini are in East Lansing to take on the 7th-ranked Michigan State Spartans. The Illini still have to face Michigan yet this season as well. So Illinois got a couple of ranked teams left on their schedule yet to play as well. So this is a big game for both these teams here, especially for Nebraska with this little bit of a stretch here with 3 of 4 against top 12 teams. So far, good start in this one for the Cornhuskers as they lead 9-4. They've held Illinois to 1 of 5 shooting here in the early going. Bryce Sanford's picked up a couple threes for the Cornhuskers for 6 early points. For the leading scorer for the Cornhuskers. As it is a packed house in Pinnacle Bank Arena on this Sunday afternoon in Lincoln. Following the timeout, we will have a side out of bounds here for the Illini as they inbound it to Wagler. Wagler guarded by Lawrence on the outside. Wagler trying to set the offense. Wagler gives it off now. Merkovic. Over it goes to Ivisic. Back outside to Wagler. 3 to shoot for the Illini. Wagler on the drive in the paint. Puts it up too strong. Offensive rebound for the Illini. Putback is up and good by Zvonimir Ivisic, the other Ivisic brother. And it makes it a 9-6 game. Here's Sam Hoiberg on the outside for Nebraska as we are 5 minutes into this first half. Hoiberg with it. Over it goes to Sanford. Buyuk Tunjul. And now in the corner, Frager for 3. That's around the rim and off. Rebound pulled down by Illinois. Tomislav Ivisic gives it off to Humrickhouse, who's also in the game for the first time. Bounce pass. Nice pass inside, and the layup is good for Tomislav Ivisic, and 4 straight for Illinois out of the timeout. Makes it a 1-point game. Jamarcus Lawrence trying to drive, draws a double team, gets out of it, and puts it up in the paint too strong. Rebound pulled down by Wagler. The Illini look to take the lead this trip. Here's Wagler on the outside. Wagler with a deep three-pointer, no good. That was on the edge of the state of Nebraska outline logo there at midcourt, and Illinois almost gets a steal on a dangerous pass from Nebraska, but it will stay with the Cornhuskers. $13:57 remaining in the opening half. That was a dangerous pass from Jamarcus Lawrence. He got lucky that Wagler only knocked it out of bounds because that was going to be an easy fast break bucket for the Illini. Nebraska inbound here to Hoiberg. Now Sanford back out to Hoiberg. Hoiberg drives. Hoiberg gets in the paint, kicks it back outside. But the Illini defense right there in the paint. And they have to send it back outside to Hoiberg. Mast drives. Mast the turn with the right hand. That's no good. Oh, and somehow there were 3 Illini underneath the basket. Nebraska somehow gets the offensive rebound, but then they miss a follow-up 3, and the rebound is pulled down by the Illini. Wagler will slow it down as he brings it up floor for Illinois. Wagler trying to drive. Now will drive. Wagler gets inside off the glass over a double team. Can't get it to go. Rebound pulled down by the Cornhuskers. And, however, the Cornhuskers turn it over as Hoiberg's pass was a little bit too far for Price Sanford, and the Cornhuskers have their first turnover. Scoring has slowed a little bit here. Both teams score in the 80s on the season. Illini about 85 a game. Nebraska just shy of 81 a game. Wagler drives outside and now back outside to Wagler. Wagler drives inside, lays it up and in, and the Illini take the lead as they're on a 6-0 run here. 10-9 for the Illini. 6 of Illinois' 10 points have come inside. Mast from the foul line. That's too strong. Nebraska now just 3 of 12 shooting the ball here early. Wagler with it for Illinois. Wagler. Off it goes now. Now it's back to Wagler. Wagler drives. Wagler with the cross-court pass. And an open three-pointer is around the rim and off. And we have a loose ball foul on the Cornhuskers on the rebound. Believe that's going to go against Brendan Frager. That'll be his first, team's third on Nebraska here in the first half. Inbound it comes to Jake Davis. Davis draws a double team, finds a man outside, and the Illini will reset with Stojakovic. Stojakovic drives. Stojakovic is stripped. And ball still loose. It goes out of bounds over to the Cornhuskers. Great hustle there by Nebraska. Cale Jacobson knocked that ball away where it looked like Illinois was going to have an easy layup with Stojakovic. And then it was a little bit of a free-for-all, and then it went out of bounds to the Nebraska bench. And it will be Cornhusker ball. 11:58 remaining in the opening half. Illini lead the Cornhuskers 10-9. Offenses have slowed up from the early going. Nebraska actually did not score in that sequence from the under 16 to the under 12. Illinois 4 of 12 shooting from the floor, 1 of 6 from three-point range. Nebraska 3 of 12, but all 3 of their field goals have been from long range as they are 3 of 6 from beyond the arc. Slight rebound edge early for the Illini. They are led early by Tomislav Ivic's 5 points. Nebraska's led by Price Sanford, 6 points. He has 2 3-pointers. Tell you about my upcoming live stream schedule. We'll be back with you on Tuesday, at least Tuesday evening, 9 o'clock Eastern time. We'll try to do a doubleheader on Tuesday. It's going to depend on my schedule and all, but at least going to be with you at 9 o'clock on Tuesday evening for the A10 battle between the 21st ranked St. Louis Billikens and the Davidson Wildcats. Again, that's at 9 o'clock Eastern time on Tuesday. We'll try to get on before that at 6:30 Eastern time for the undefeated Miami of Ohio Redhawks in Buffalo to take on the Bulls. But that is up in the air. But for sure, we'll be with you for the Billikens and the Wildcats. Tuesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Boy, I had St. Louis in my live stream on Friday against Dayton. Boy, is that one heck of a basketball team there with the Billikens, as they just absolutely destroyed Dayton on Friday night. Josh's shirts, St. Louis Billikens, boy, if they continue to play like this for the rest of the year going into the NCAA tournament, that is not a team you are going to want to see, or you're not going to want to go up against. They can score the ball and they can play some defense. They can beat you in many, many ways. As they haven't just been winning their games, they've just been blowing out people. So that's the next scheduled live stream coming up on Tuesday. Of course, we are down to 2 undefeated teams in college basketball, Arizona and Miami of Ohio. They both stayed that way yesterday. Arizona's been a unanimous number 1 the last 2 weeks. I don't think they're going to be a unanimous number 1 this week, because I think you're probably going to see Michigan get some votes. But we'll see. After the timeout, it is Cornhusker ball. Here's Frager with it. Frager over to Hoiberg. Hoiberg into the corner. And now the pass outside to Jacobson. Wide open 3 at the top of the key is good. That is the 4th 3 of the half for Nebraska. That's Braden Frager, easy for me to say, with his first 3-pointer, and the Huskers are back in front 12-10. Illinois trying to answer at the other end with the 3 by Stojakovic. They cannot, and it's rebounded by the Cornhuskers. Mast with it. Now Frager back over to Sanford. Sanford looking for help, gets it inside to Mast. Mast guarded by Stojakovic, tries to spin, but can't. Stojakovic stays with him defensively. Gives it off now to Cale Jacobson. Jacobson gets underneath, kicks it back outside for a wide open 3 for Hoiberg. That's too strong. Rebound pulled down by Avicic of the Illini. Illini down 2 as we near the 10.5-minute mark here in the first half. That's a great pass inside from Wagler, and the finish for David Merkovic. That's his first 2 points, and we are all square at 12. Hoiberg with it on the outside for the Cornhuskers. Gives it off to Cale Jacobson. Into the corner. That's Sanford again. This time cannot connect from the corner on a 3, and it's rebounded by the Illini. A deep 3 again for Wagler, and this one is good. Keaton Wagler from deep. He's got 5 points, and the Illini lead by 3, 15-12. Illini on an 11-3 run. Here's Rink Mast. Back to Hoiberg. Hoiberg inside to Mast. Nice bounce pass inside to Jacobson, and the reverse layup is good on the feed from Rink Mast. And that cuts it to 1, 15-14. That's Nebraska's first points that have been scored on anything other than a 3-point field goal. Wagler with it for the Illini. Lost the dribble momentarily. And now another 3-pointer on the way is off the mark by Merkovic. And it's rebounded by Nebraska. Hoiberg. And we have a push underneath on the Illini. I think that's going to go against Tomislav Avicic. See, Illini's first foul of this game. And it will be Nebraska ball with 9:15 to go in the first half. Tightly contested first half here. Defenses on both sides have played very well. Here's Jamarcus Lawrence with it for the Cornhuskers. Wide open in the corner, and a 3 for Braden Frager. Nebraska's 5th 3 of the first half, and they lead 17-15 on a back-and-forth first half so far. Here's Wagler for the Illini, guarded by Lawrence. Wagler now drives, now gives it off to Avicic. Shot clock down to 5. Alley-oop inside, and the finish for Zvonimir Avicic A great feed underneath. And at the other end, Nebraska misses a three. And Zvonimir Ivisic pulls down the Illinois rebound. Wagler slows it down as he brings it up the floor for the Illini. Wagler looking. Gets it over to Tomislav Ivisic. Back to Wagler. Wagler with 8 to shoot. Wagler puts it on the floor. Regroups. Illinois going to have to get off a shot here. Wagler drives inside. That's a tough shot. Rebound and a foul. And that will send the Illini to the free throw line. So foul is going to be on Cale Jacobson of the Cornhuskers. That'll be his first and the team's fourth. And it will send Zvonimir Ivisic to the line for 2. Zvonimir Ivisic, 4 points here in the early going for Illinois. 64% free throw shooter on the season. First of 2 is no good. Illini just 1 of 4 at the free throw line. Ivisic will have 1 more. Zvonimir Ivisic, a junior out of Croatia. Got the second. To put the Illini back in front, 18-17, as we hit the 8-minute mark here in the first half. Jamarcus Lawrence brings it up across the midcourt stripe for Nebraska. Lawrence, bounce pass underneath. Back outside it comes to Lawrence, and they reset. Lawrence off to Cale Jacobson. Jacobson tries to drive, kicks it back outside. Rink Mast for a 3. That's no good. Rebound pulled down by the Illini. 12 of Nebraska's 19 field goal attempts so far in this game have been from three-point range. Humrickhouse with a great feed underneath and a dunk for Tomislav Ivisic on the great feed from Humrickhouse. 20-17 Illinois. Here's at the other end, Frager hitting a 3 in the corner. Frager's third 3 of the first half. He's got 9, and we're tied again at 20. Merkovic crosses midcourt with it for the Illini. Merkovic, bounce pass inside. It'll go right back outside to Merkovic. Merkovic over the other way. Humrickhouse misses a 3 off the back rim. Illini try to save it, and they do. An extra possession for the Illini. Tomislav Ivisic hits a 3 in front of the Nebraska bench. He's got 10 in the half, and Illinois is up again by 3, 23-20. Entertaining first half here in Lincoln. Nice bounce pass there, and a rejection, and it's knocked off of Nebraska. Over to Illinois. That's a great play. Zvonimir Ivisic got the block and then was able to knock it off a Nebraska player before it went out of bounds. Great play. And that brings us to the under 8 timeout. 23-20. Illini with 6:21 remaining in the opening half. Boy, this Illini team, not only do they have a great offense, they can definitely make some defensive plays to make it more difficult on you as well. Illini 9 of 21 shooting in this game for 43%. 3 of 11 from 3. They're just 2 of 5 at the free throw line, so they haven't really helped themselves at the free throw line early in this game. Neither team's had larger than a 5-point lead in this game so far. Been very, very nip and tuck. Kind of game you expect to see in this top 10 battle. Just 3 combined turnovers here in the first half as well. These are also teams that don't beat themselves. Nebraska just 33% shooting on 7 of 21. They are 46%, 6 of 13 from beyond the arc. 6 of their 7 field goals have been the 3-point variety. Love you guys jumping in on the live chat. Appreciate the kind words there. Jay, who do you think gonna win? Okay, see, I don't like picking the games that I'm doing, so I don't really want to say. I've got my thoughts as to how I think this game's gonna go. I just don't like picking on the games I do, but I think it's going to be a very, very nip and tuck game, just like the first time we saw at the State Farm Center in Champaign. As these are two teams that, if they continue the way they're playing right now, these two teams definitely have at least Final Four aspirations. These are two teams that you could see go very, very deep in the NCAA tournament, which is very weird to say for Nebraska, considering they have never won an NCAA tournament game, period. Which that is hard to believe. So that if they continue to play this way, you figure that streak's going to end this season. Lowered Congress, you got 200 on Nebraska? Well, good luck to you. At the half, coming up at halftime, we will talk about show the top 25 scoreboard and give you scores across the country and give you some news from other sports as well outside of college basketball. We've got a head coaching hire in the NFL, Australian Open men's final, swan song for Novak Djokovic in the Australian Open. We'll tell you about that as well. Look at the NBA and NHL scoreboard. So we're going to talk about a lot here at the half and talk about in college basketball who's hot here as we're getting into February. So we're going to start hearing that bubble talk. Who's on the bubble? Who needs to do what? As Selection Sunday, believe it or not, is 6 weeks away from this Sunday. That is hard to believe. So following the timeout here, Illini will bring it up the floor with Keaton Wagler. Off to Humrickhouse. Back outside to Wagler. Wagler draws a double team. Alley-oop again inside to Zvonimir Ivisic on the feed from Wagler. Ivisic has been on the receiving end of both alley-oops here in the first half. 25-20 Illini. Lawrence outside, it goes to Frager. Frager looking for help, gets it over to Mast. Rink Mast guarded by Wagler. Wagler staying on him. Mast across the court. Hoiberg with it now with the shot clock running down. That's going to be a shot clock violation. Another great defensive play by Illinois to force the shot clock violation. Illinois with it now, looking for their largest lead of this game as we hit 5.5 to play in the first half. Wagler to Merkovic, back outside to Wagler. Wagler against Lawrence. Wagler drives inside. Wagler gets cut off by a double team. Wagler kicks it outside to Merkovic. 5 to shoot for the Illini. And the turnaround by Wagler's an air ball, but Nebraska knocks it out of bounds. It will stay with Illinois, although that shot did not hit the rim, so there's just 2 on the shot clock for the Illini. We'll have to set something up here out of the inbound with only 2 seconds. Wagler inbound, and that's going to be knocked away by the Cornhuskers. They saved the ball. It was probably a shot clock violation, but the officials let it go as Nebraska had possession. Mast with a bad pass, and another great play by Wagler to knock it off Lawrence. And it will go over to the Illini. Both teams now with 3 turnovers in the first half. Wagler to inbound from half court for the Illini. 4:52 remaining in the opening half. Tomislav Ivisic going to get a breather here for the Illini. Wagler inbound to Merkovic, who will bring it across the midcourt stripe. Merkovic looking for some help. Merkovic guarded by Frager. Now they put Sanford on him. Merkovic drives inside. That was not a good shot. And then we have an over-the-back foul on the Illini on the rebound. Merkovic tried to do a little bit too much there. And the foul on Illinois will be the first on Avicic. Jamarcus Lawrence will bring it up the floor for Nebraska. Lawrence. Buyuk Tunjul back in the game. Lawrence with the pull-up jumper. That's good over Wagler. Jamarcus Lawrence with his second field goal. He's got 5, and it's 25-22 in favor of the Illini. Wagler. Over it goes to Merkovic. Merkovic into the corner. Wide open. 3 is good by Jake Davis. That's his first field goal, and the Illini with their largest lead of this game now at 6, 28-22. Hoiberg off to Jamarcus Lawrence. Back outside to Hoiberg, back to Lawrence. Lawrence tries a deep 3. That's good over Wagler. Jamarcus Lawrence now with 8.5. 28-25, Illini lead cut in half. Merkovic. Merkovic looking for help, sends it across the court. Davis is fouled on a 3-point shot. That's the second time this half that Davis has been fouled on a 3. Jamarcus Lawrence just picked up his second foul for Nebraska. 3:23 remaining in the first half. 28-25 lead for the Illini. And Davis will have 3 free throws on the other side of the timeout. So great job by Jake Davis. The second time here in the first half, he's been able to do a little bit of a pump fake and get the defender to bite and foul him on a 3-point shot. Updated numbers in this one. Illini shooting 44%. 31% from 3-point range. Nebraska shooting at just 39%, 9 of 23. They're 7 of 14, however, from beyond the arc. That's really what's kept them in this game right now. They're just 2 for 9 on 2-point shots and 7 of 14 from 3. However, a bit of a story here on that last foul. Jamarcus Lawrence picked up his second foul for Nebraska. So can't really afford to get him in foul trouble. He's got 8 points here in the first half. Three turnovers apiece in the half. Illinois with a 6-rebound edge over Nebraska at 17-11. This despite Nebraska holding Illinois' leading scorer, Keaton Wagler, to just 2 of 8 shooting here in the first half. Leading scorer on the season for Nebraska, Price Sanford, has 6 here in the half. As it is a 28-25 lead for the Illini. Late stages first half from Lincoln. Nebraska trying to avoid a second consecutive loss after that 20-0 start. Illinois looking to avoid the season sweep by Nebraska. As it was an 83-80 win for Nebraska in Champaign back in mid-December. But it's been the Avicic brothers for Illinois here in the first half that have done a lot of the damage. They've combined for 17 of the 28 points here in the first half so far. Also have 8 rebounds combined between the two. As set to come out of the timeout, Jake Davis is going to have 3 free throws here for the Illini. First of 3 by Davis is good. He just went 1 of 3 his previous time at the line. Second of 3 for Davis is good as well. One more coming for Jake Davis. He hits all 3 this time. Davis with 7. The Illini lead is back to 6 as Hoiberg brings it up across the midcourt stripe for the Cornhuskers. Hoiberg gives it off to Sanford. Sanford at the top of the key for 3. That's his third 3 of the first half for the leading scorer for Nebraska. He's now got 9, and the lead cut to 3 again, 31-28. Here's Wagler getting it off to Merkovic. Back out to Wagler. And the Illini will reset as Wagler will back it out. Wagler, step back 3 is blocked by Cale Jacobson, and Nebraska comes out with the basketball. Frager to Hoiberg for 3 and the tie, and it's good. Hoiberg hits and back-to-back 3s for the Cornhuskers, tie it at 31. Timeout, Illinois. Back-to-back 3-pointers and a quick 6-0 run by the Cornhuskers tie this game with 2.5 to play in the first half. That's Sam Hoiberg's first field goal of this game. Nebraska's hit 9 3-pointers here in the first half. And we are all square, 31-31. Brad Underwood had to take a timeout there. Illini will bring it up following the timeout. It's Merkovic. Merkovic on the outside, guarded by Sanford. Merkovic drives inside and lost it out of bounds. It will go back to Nebraska. Lower Congress, now it's a game. It most certainly is. Great, hard-fought battle between these two excellent teams. Here's Sanford. Cornhuskers look for the lead back. Here's Frager for 3. That's good. 3 consecutive 3s down the floor for Nebraska. Their 10th 3 of the first half. And it's 34-31 as we're under 2 to go in the half. Merkovic, that's a kick ball by Buyuk Tunjul. It will stay Illinois ball. Shot clock will reset to 20. Illinois to inbound. And the quick shot inside the paint off the inbound is no good. Rebound pulled down by Nebraska. Hoiberg. Bounce pass inside. Buyuk Tunjul. Buyuk Tunjul spins, has it rejected. Vonimir Avicic with the block. It will stay Nebraska ball with 1:31 to play here in the first half. Nebraska to inbound underneath the basket. In it comes to Hoiberg. Sanford. Frager in the corner, misses this time from 3-point range. Rebound pulled down by Tomislav Avicic. And a strip. Stojakovic was stripped by Cale Jacobson, and Jacobson will take it and lay it in. The run now 11-0 for Nebraska, and they lead by 5. Minute to go, first half. Here's Davis. Back to Wagler. Illinois needs a basket here to stop the momentum for Nebraska. Wagler finds Davis. Merkovic drives inside. Merkovic puts it up and in. A big basket for the Illini, and it cuts it to a 3-point game. That stops the 11-0 Nebraska run. And they also were able to go 2 for 1. They're going to get the ball back here at the end of the first half. Sanford hits a long 3. His 4-3 of the half. He has 12. The Nebraska lead is 6. Shot clock is off. Illinois to run for the final shot of the half. Red hot 3-point shooting from the Huskers. They've hit 11 3-pointers in this first half. Down to 8 seconds. Wagler. Wagler looks to drive. Wagler is fouled from behind. Nebraska had a foul to give there. And now with 5 seconds, the Illini will inbound. Jake Davis comes back in for the final 5 seconds of the first half for Illinois, replacing Zvonimir Avicic. Inbound it comes. Is a high pass taken away by Nebraska, and this is a 3-pointer that's blocked as the horn sounds to end the first half. But the Cornhuskers end the first half on a 14-2 run and take a 6-point lead to the locker room, 39-33 over Illinois. Great finish for the first half for Nebraska, as it looked like they may have seized momentum there. At the end of the first half, 11 3-point shots made by the Cornhuskers. In that first half, 11 of their 14 field goals were from long range. And Nebraska leads at halftime, 39-33 over Illinois. It should be a fun 20 minutes from Lincoln here in the second half, as the Huskers lead it by 6 at the half. Well, we've got this top 25 matchup. We've had some other top 25 teams in action today. And we had the matchup of top 25 teams in Gainesville between number 23 Alabama and number 19 Florida. And it was a little bit of a mismatch, as Florida had no problems with Alabama as they won it 100-77 for Florida over Alabama. So the defending national champions from Florida, they had a little bit of a slow start to this season, but it looks like they have gotten their groove together here as they're starting to play some good basketball, as Florida looks to repeat as national champions. And they get a big dominating win today over Alabama by 23 points. 100-77, the final score in that one. Alex Condon led the way for Florida in that game with 25 points. Florida led pretty much that whole game against the Crimson Tide. Crimson Tide just had no answers today for the defending national champion, as Florida improved to 16-6 on the season. And they moved to 7-2 in SEC play. Alabama falls to 14-7 overall. They fall to 4-4 in SEC play. Number 8, Iowa State was in action today in Manhattan, Kansas, and pretty much was the same result as the Florida-Alabama game. It was a little bit of a mismatch. Number 8, Iowa State, 95-61, the final score over Kansas State, as Justin Justin Jefferson. Wrong sport. Joshua Jefferson had 19 points for Iowa State in that game. They had 5 players score in double figures in that game, as they shot 55% from the floor. Iowa State now 20-2 on the season. They improved to 7-2 in Big 12 play. Kansas State, a little bit of a rough year for them. They fall to 10-12 on the season and 1-8 in Big 12 play. Another top 25 team in action today was the number 12 Purdue Boilermakers. They came into this game today on a 3-game losing streak. They were kind of headed the wrong direction there, but they seemed to get that corrected today in College Park, as Fletcher Lawyer, 29 points for number 12 Purdue, and I think they took their frustrations of their 3-game losing streak out on Maryland today, as Purdue just absolutely walloped the Terrapins 93-63 there in College Park. Purdue shot 53% from the floor in that game and snapped their 3-game losing streak and improved to 18-4 on the season, moved to 8-3 in Big Ten play. Maryland, bad year for the Terrapins. They fall to 8-13 overall, 1-9 in the Big Ten. As Purdue maybe got their turnaround back in the right direction, started with this blowout win over Maryland today. Of course, we have our new top 25 coming out tomorrow. It's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. Arizona's been a unanimous number 1 the last 2 weeks. Arizona is still undefeated, although this week I don't think it's going to be a unanimous number 1. They should stay number 1. I think you're going to see Michigan jump UConn and go to number 2 with Michigan's 2 wins they had this week. Number 5, Nebraska, and on the road at number 7, Michigan State. And I do think you're going to see Michigan get some top 25 or first place votes this week as well. So Arizona should still be number 1, but I don't think it's going to be a unanimous number 1 for the 3rd week in a row. And if Nebraska can hold on here, that loss to Michigan back on Tuesday, it should not really hurt them, because Ann Arbor would know how good the Michigan team is this year. So if Nebraska able to pull this game out, they should probably be able to stay about right where they're at. Maybe drop a spot to 6, but it's not going to be a big drastic drop here. Big game coming up tomorrow in college basketball out of the Big 12, Kansas and Texas Tech. Texas Tech coming off a loss yesterday at UCF. Kansas handled BYU at home, so that's a matchup in Lubbock coming up tomorrow night. That'll be 9 o'clock Eastern time. We'll see where both those teams are ranked. Kansas came in ranked 14th this week. Texas Tech came in ranked 11th. They're probably going to drop with that loss to UCF, although that's a UCF team that's now 17-4 this year. I don't think people outside the Big 12 realize that that's a pretty good UCF team that Texas Tech lost to yesterday. So we've got some news outside of college basketball as we switch gears to the NFL, and we have another head coaching hire today, as the Arizona Cardinals have finalized a deal with Rams offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur to be the new head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. Mike LaFleur, of course, the brother of Packers coach Matt LaFleur. So Mike LaFleur, the offensive coordinator of the Rams, heading to the Cardinals to become their new head coach. Rams led the league this year in points per game and yards per game. So pretty much getting an offensive guru there are the Cardinals. Mike LaFleur, trying to get the Cardinals turned around. Of course, Kyler Murray, quarterback there for the Cardinals, hadn't had a whole lot he does have Marvin Harrison Jr., but they just haven't seemed to have been able to click. And so hopefully that will, Mike LaFleur is a good hire for the Cardinals. And with the offense he put up with the Rams this year as coordinator, he should be able to get that offense turned around there in Arizona, as Arizona did a rough season this year for the Cardinals. And also NFL news, the Raiders are expected to hire the Seahawks offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak as their new head coach. Of course, they have to wait to make that announcement until after the Super Bowl, since, of course, the Seahawks are playing in the Super Bowl a week from tonight against the Patriots. So they cannot officially finalize that until the conclusion of that Super Bowl game, but it appears the Raiders and Seahawks offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak are finalizing a deal for Kubiak to become the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. And of course, the Raiders have the number 1 pick in the NFL draft this year. A lot of people expecting that to be Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza after leading the Hoosiers to the national championship in an undefeated 16-0 season and also winning the Heisman Trophy this year. So we will see, but that's expected to be finalized after the Super Bowl. And a little bit of women's college basketball news for you. Number 1, UConn. They had the battle with Tennessee today, and UConn just destroyed Tennessee by 30. That is the worst loss for Tennessee in that long, long rivalry between Tennessee and UConn in the women's game, as UConn just absolutely destroyed the Tennessee Volunteers today. Tennessee came in ranked number 15. And that was tied into the second quarter, but then UConn just went bonkers after that and win that game by 30, as the UConn women are now 23-0 on the season. Tennessee fell to 14-5 with that 30-point loss today. Here we have 39-33, Nebraska leading Illinois at the half. And the three-point shooting is what's getting it done for Nebraska's. All but 3 of their field goals in the first half were from three-point range. As let's run down some of the first half stats from this game between the Illini and the Cornhuskers. Illini from the field in the first half, 12 of 28 for 43%. They were 4 of 14 from three-point range at 29%, 5 of 8 at the free throw line for 63%. For Nebraska, 14 of 31 shooting for 45%, 11 of 20 from three-point range. They were 55% from beyond the arc. They did not shoot a free throw in the first half. There were only 8 combined fouls called in that first half. It was a pretty clean game. Turnovers, Illini turned it over 6 times. Nebraska turned it over 3 times in the first half. 19-14 edge on the glass for Illinois. Individual scoring in that first half, the Illini were led by Tomislav Ivicic's 10 points. That is right at his season average of 10 points that he had there in the first half. 7 points apiece from Jake Davis and from Zvonimir Ivicic off the bench. 5 points out of Keaton Wagler and 4 points for David Mirkovich. That's it. Only 5 Illini players scored in that first half. Meanwhile, for Nebraska, they were led by a couple of players with 12 points. Price Sanford and Braden Frager, each with 12 points, each hitting 4 three-pointers. 8 points out of Jamarcus Lawrence, 4 points out of Cale Jacobson off the bench, and 3 points out of Sam Hoiberg. And again, Nebraska, just like Illinois, only had 5 players score in that first half, as it is a 39-33 lead for the Cornhuskers over the Illini, as the Cornhuskers look for the season sweep over Illinois, winning in Champaign 83-80 back in mid-December. Another Big Ten game going to tip off tonight. That will be out in Eugene, Oregon. Iowa and Oregon. Iowa making that West Coast trip to take on the Oregon Ducks. And again, want to remind you, on my live stream, I will be back on Tuesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern for the number 21 St. Louis Billikens going up against the Davidson Wildcats. That'll be at 9 o'clock Eastern time. I hope to be on before that at 6:30 Eastern time as well for the undefeated Miami of Ohio Redhawks traveling to Buffalo to take on the Bulls. That is tentative. But number 21 St. Louis and Davidson will definitely be on the live stream Tuesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern time for that game. That's a St. Louis team that should be up into the top 20 when the new AP poll comes out tomorrow, as that is a very, very good Billikens team. So back with you for that one on Tuesday night. A lot of college basketball live streams coming up during the coming week here. Have that game for you on Tuesday, and we'll have another college basketball live stream on Wednesday as well. Don't know the schedule yet beyond Tuesday. Have play that by ear as the games go on this week. So I'll try to keep updated on the schedule on Wednesday, and we'll be on with you over the weekend as well. And also, 1 week from tonight on my live stream, we'll also have a live stream of Super Bowl 60 between the Seahawks and the Patriots coming up next Sunday, as we will crown a Super Bowl champion. So we'll have that game on the live stream, Super Bowl 60. A week from tonight, as that it will be in Santa Clara. As will it be the Patriots or will it be the Seahawks hoisting the Vince Lombardi Trophy? And here we are just about ready to start half number 2 between the Illini and the Cornhuskers. And by the way, something I failed to mention, the Australian Open men's final took place earlier today, and Carlos Alcaraz outlasted Novak Djokovic in his Australian Open swan song. As Alcaraz was a winner 2-6, 6-2, 6-3, and 7-5 over Novak Djokovic to win the Australian Open men's final down there in Melbourne. So here we go, underway, second half. Nebraska has the ball with the first possession. Jamarcus Lawrence with it on the outside. Off to Sanford. Sanford, who hit 4 threes in that first half. Sanford gives it back to Lawrence. Out to Rink Mast. Original starting 5 for both teams here in the second half. Hoiberg. It's off to Lawrence. Lawrence puts it up, has it rejected. So a block shot to open the second half for Nebraska, and here comes Illinois with their first second half possession. Wagler finds a Visick. Illinois with their original starting 5 from the beginning of the game as well. Davis. Visick, shot clock at 5. Wagler steps back. Wagler with 3 to shoot. Wagler drives inside with the right hand and lays it in. Keaton Wagler gets inside for the first 2 points of the second half. He's got 7, and it's 39-35 Nebraska. Hoiberg with it on the outside. Off to Sanford. Working it around. Lawrence open 3 in the corners, too strong. Rebound to Wagler, and Wagler will slow it up as he had a 1-on-3 there. Wagler looking to drive, now gets it in the corner. Davis for 3, it's short. Rebound pulled down by Buyuk Tunjul for Nebraska. Rink Mast, who was scoreless in that first half. Mast gets inside. Mast looking to turn. Right-hand hook is no good. Mast still scoreless in the game, now 0 for 5. He missed the Michigan game on Tuesday with the flu. A three-pointer on the way is short by Avicic. Rebound pulled down by Hoiberg. 2 minutes old, second half. Slow offensive start here in the second half for both teams. Jamarcus Lawrence kicks it outside for a three-pointer that is good. Burke Buyuk-Tunjul with his first 3 points of the game. And Nebraska's in front by 7, 42-35. Wagler up the floor for the Illini. Wagler off to Avicic, over to Jake Davis. Davis with 10 to shoot. Bounce pass to Avicic. Outside to Wagler. Back to Davis. Davis sets up for three and got it. Jake Davis now with 10 as he has his second three-pointer. 42-38, the Nebraska lead. Hoiberg finds Lawrence. Lawrence on the drive. Kicks it outside to Buyuk-Tunjul. Hoiberg tries a three-pointer. That's too strong. Rebound pulled down by Illinois. Wagler will slow it down as he crosses the midcourt stripe. Wagler looking. Wagler passes off to Davis. Davis back out to Wagler. Wagler bounce pass to Avicic. Avicic, nice feed inside, and the reverse layup counted and a foul. Stojakovic puts it in and gets fouled, and will have a chance for a three-point play for Illinois. That foul's on Burke Buyuk-Tunjul. That's his second. And a three-point opportunity coming for Stojakovic. That was his first 2 points of the game with that layup right there. He averages 13.5 a game, completes the three-point play, and brings Illinois within one, 42-41. Here's Jamarcus Lawrence. Lawrence finds Rink Mast. Mast guarded by Merkovich. Now Lawrence off to Hoiberg. Sanford now. Sanford, the driving runner in the paint, is good. Price Sanford with his first 2-point field goal. He's now got a dozen in the game. 44-41 Nebraska. Just over 4 minutes into this second half. Wagler guarded by Lawrence out in the three-point area. Off it goes to Avicic. Back to Davis. Back to Avicic. Back over to Wagler. Wagler tries a three-pointer, hits it, and we're tied. Keaton Wagler with the three. He's got 10 points, and this game is all tied up at 44. Lawrence pull up from just beyond the foul line. That's short. Rebound pulled down by Keaton Wagler. And the Illini look for the lead for the first time in the second half. Avicic hands it off to Wagler. Wagler draws a double team. Now back to Avicic. Avicic on the drive against Mast. Avicic puts it off the glass. And Tomislav Avicic now has the Illini in front. 46-44. 11-2 run for the Illini. Hoiberg gets inside. Bounce pass. Buyuk-Tunjul outside to Mast. Buyuk-Tunjul outside to Hoiberg for three, and he hits it. Fred Hoiberg with the three. Nebraska's 13th three of this game, and the Cornhuskers are back in front, 47-46. What a ball game here in Lincoln. Bounce pass and a three-pointer. That's short. Offensive rebound, but it's going to be an over-the-back foul on Tomislav Avicic. So that'll be his first foul, and the first foul on the Illini in the second half, as we are going to get a breather at the under 16. 14:25 remaining. 47-46 Nebraska. Illini shooting at 47%. Nebraska at 44%. 32% from three-point range for the Illini. 54% from three for Nebraska. 13 three-pointers made. Nebraska's made 13 three-pointers, 4 two-pointers. They're just 4 of 15 from two-point range. 24-17 edge on the glass for Illinois. Illini now have 3 players in double figures. Tomislav Ivisic with 12, 10 points apiece from Jake Davis and Keaton Wagler. Nebraska's led by Price Sanford's 14. Braden Frager has 12. That's the 2 in double figures for the Cornhuskers, as they lead this game 47-46. And I think I misspoke there on that loose ball foul going to the break. I think I said that was the first foul on Tomislav Ivisic. That's actually his second. First team foul of the second half. Though a doozy between these two top 10 teams in the Big Ten. Big Ten, at least one of the top 2 conferences in the country, as in this week's AP Top 25, which of course will change tomorrow when the rankings come out next week. The Big Ten had 4 teams in the top 10 this week. In this week's AP poll, Michigan was number 3, Nebraska number 5, Michigan State number 7, and Illinois number 9. So we'll see how the AP poll gets changed for this coming week. Coming in, as I start to keep track of this here at the beginning of February, Nebraska still by a couple of there's about 2 of the NCAA predictor things that I look at. Two that I look at very closely. Nebraska was projected as a 1 seed still in both of those that I saw earlier today. Illinois projected as a 2 seed at the moment. We still have a little over a month to go in the regular season, so a lot can change between now and then. Cornhusker ball out of the timeout. Here's Jamarcus Lawrence passing inside, and we have a holding foul underneath. That's going to go against Humrickhouse. That's his first and the team's second on Illinois. Fraser to inbound for Nebraska. Brings it into Hoiberg. Off now to Jamarcus Lawrence. Lawrence with it. Back over left side to Hoiberg. Hoiberg drives. Hoiberg and is fouled again. Humrickhouse just got his second foul in a row. And that's the team's third here in the second half against Illinois. Humrickhouse with 2 fouls here in about 15 seconds. Nebraska to inbound. Buyuk Tunjol with it. Over to Frager. Jamarcus Lawrence. Nice pass inside, but a little too high for Buyuk Tunjol. It was a great look, but the pass was a little high and a little bit too much mustard on it from Jamarcus Lawrence. That's the 4th Nebraska turnover. Illini bringing up the floor with Merkovic. Merkovic draws a double team, throws it across the court to Wagler. Back over to Merkovic. Thought about the 3, now will drive inside. Kick it outside for a 3-pointer. That's too strong. Nebraska can't quite corral the rebound. It will stay with Illinois. 13:34 remaining. Illinois to inbound. Humrickhouse with it on the outside over to Wagler. Wagler guarded by Hoiberg. Now Frager goes on Wagler. Wagler, 5 to shoot for Illinois. Merkovic has to put up a deep 3 and missed it off the back rim. And a nice rebound on his knees from Buyuk Tunjul, but Illinois ties him up, and Illinois will have the possession arrow. Buyuk Tunjul trying to claim he was trying to call a timeout, but the officials call it a held ball. I see him trying to call timeout there, but it looked like Humrick House had him tied up prior to the timeout being signaled for. Three-pointer is good off the inbound for Illinois for Keaton Wagler. That gives him 13, and Illinois is back in front, 49-47. Nebraska trying to answer with a three. Cannot. Rebound pulled down by Merkovic. Wagler crosses the midcourt stripe. Illinois was down 7 earlier in the half. They're currently on a 14-5 run. Wagler is fouled on the outside. They're going to get Cale Jacobson with the foul on Nebraska. Just the second team foul here in the second half. Number 2 on Jacobson. Illinois to inbound. Stojakovic inbounds to Wagler. Wagler drives inside. Wagler with a great feed underneath and the finish. And it's 51-47, Illinois by 4. Illinois, unlike Nebraska, doing a lot of their point damage in the paint. There's 22 points in the paint now for the Illini. Frager double team, kicks it outside to Buyuk Tunjul, who misses a 3 long. Rebound pulled down by the Illini, and the Illini have a chance to build the lead to 6 or 7 with a 3. Nebraska just 3 of 10 from the floor here in the second half. Here's Wagler with 10 on the shot clock for Illinois. Wagler at quarter court, now drives. Wagler kicks it outside for a three-pointer. Back rim, no. And a foul on the floor, loose ball foul against Nebraska. And that will bring us to the under 12 timeout. 51-47 Illini, 11:37 remaining. Half number 2. Boy, Nebraska's really cooled off as their shooting percentage down to 41% now. Only 14 combined fouls. This has been a pretty clean game on both sides, which is good to see. Again, your finals earlier from the Big Ten. Number 12, Purdue beats Maryland 93-63, the final score. Penn State, with a shot in the final seconds, beat Minnesota 77-75. And still to come tonight in the Big Ten, 8 Eastern time, out in Eugene, Oregon will host Iowa. Number 8, Iowa State, and number 19, Florida, also winners in the top 25 today. Iowa State blows out Kansas State, and Florida eases past number 23, Alabama. So the games involving top 25 teams today haven't exactly been what you call nail-biters. That's not the case in this one. We've got a good one between the 9th-ranked Fighting Illini and the 5th-ranked Cornhuskers. Winner of this game will move to 10-1 in the Big Ten and be in a first-place tie with Michigan. Loser will fall to 9-2 and fall into a third-place tie with Michigan State. Illinois now has a 10 rebound edge over Nebraska, 28-18 in this game. And their defense has stepped up as they have held Nebraska to 8 points so far in the first nearly 8.5 minutes of the second half. As it's going to be a Illini ball out of the timeout. Wagler to inbound for the Illini. Wagler brings it in to Merkovic. Merkovic inside, too strong, tries to follow it up, no good. And Hoiberg comes down with this rebound for Nebraska. Cale Jacobson off to Frager. Frager finds Rink Mast, who's still scoreless in this game. Mast looking for help, gives it over, and a three-point shot is up and good for Frager. Frager with 15 points off the bench for Nebraska. He's the Cornhuskers' leading scorer tonight, and it's 51-50. 11-minute mark, second half. Wagler backs it out for the Illini. Now Wagler drives inside and gets bumped. Wagler took a pretty good shot under the basket there on that foul. Be Nebraska's fourth team foul the second half. It's going to be number 3 on Cale Jacobson. So Jacobson becomes the first Cornhusker to hit the 3-foul mark. First player in the game totaled with 3 fouls. Keaton Wagler heading to the line for the first time. 82% free throw shooter on the season. It's like Brad Underwood was asking one of the officials if they want to look at this to see if this foul needs to be upgraded of some sort. I'm assuming that's what he was discussing. And the officials are coming over to the monitor. I think he was thinking there's high contact there, and they just showed the replay. I don't see anything. I mean, Jacobson does hit Wagler in the head while Wagler was going up, but I didn't look like it was anything intent or anything. I think that was just he got caught up in the air and was just trying to stop himself from a hard fall on the floor, and I just happened that he caught Wagler up in the face. I don't think this doesn't appear that it warrants anything other than a common foul, but we will see how the officials see it. Showing it again here. Wagler drives. Jacobson got hung up in the air, and as he was coming down, he did catch Wagler in the face. But again, it just appeared to me like he was just trying to balance himself. And that just happened to be where he hit. I've seen calls like that called a flagrant one before, but that does not seem to me that raises to the flagrant level, but we'll see. Yes, he catches Wagler in the face high, but again, and we're going to get the call now. It is a common foul. Yeah, that's the correct call. There was nothing there that rose to the level of flagrant. So it will be 2 shots for Keaton Wagler. Brad Underwood's getting an explanation now. He's not liking the explanation he's getting, but that was the correct call. First of 2 free throws for Wagler is good. Didn't see much of an argument from Wagler on it. Illini now 7 of 10 at the free throw line. Nebraska still has not been to the free throw line this afternoon. Wagler's second is good, and that extends the Illini lead to 3, 53-50. Here's Hoiberg. Hoiberg to Sanford. Sanford gives it off to Jacobson, back outside to Frager. Frager's hit 5 threes this afternoon. Now he'll drive inside, put it up in the paint, blocking foul. Shot does not go, but Frager will head to the line to try to get 2 at the free throw line. Zvonimir Avicic will pick up his second foul. So both Avicic brothers for Illinois, 2 fouls apiece, along with Ben Humrickhouse. And Frager at the line. First of 2 is good. This is Nebraska's first trip to the free throw line today. And one more free throw coming to try to make this a 1-point game again. And he does so. 53-52, 10.5 to play. Wagler with it for the Illini. Wagler out to Avicic, back to Wagler. Wagler backing it back out, now looking for help. Shot clock at 8. Wagler goes inside to Avicic. He draws a double team. Avicic, he walked. Yeah, he had nowhere to go with that. Tried to get rid of the ball, but put the pivot foot down and is called for steps. 7th turnover against the Illini. Mast with it. Outside to Hoiberg. Hoiberg off to Sanford. Sanford drives. Sanford outside. Jacobson's 3 off the back rim. Rebound pulled down by Illinois as we are past the midway point here in the second half. Merkovic sends it outside for a wide open 3. Keaton Wagler, but it rimmed off. Rebound pulled down by Mast of Nebraska. Nebraska looks to retake the lead this possession. And the long drive inside is blocked by Illinois. The rejection underneath the basket keeps the lead for Illinois. That's their 5th block of the game. Wagler. Wagler gives it off now to Zvonimir Avicic. Merkovic, shot clock at 3. Merkovic, draw pass inside. They're going to have to put up a force 3 at the shot clock buzzer, and it's good by Jake Davis. He just had to throw that thing up there with 1 on the shot clock and got it to go. 56-52 Illinois. Mast will try a 3 at the other end. He can't hit. Mast still scoreless. Now 0 for 6 from the floor. Illini back the other way, up by 4, under 8.5 to play. Wagler, guarded by Hoiberg. Wagler finds Davis. Inside it goes to Tomislav Avicic, back outside to Wagler. Tomislav Avicic, now over to Merkovic. Merkovic drives inside, hangs up there and scores off the glass. Merkovic with the basket. 6-point lead, Illini. Timeout, Fred Hoiberg and Nebraska. The Illini have built a 6-point lead with just over 8 minutes to play. Illini have battled back from down 6 at the half to going up 6. As they have outscored Nebraska here in the second half, 25-13. Nebraska's overall field goal percentage is down to 40% now. Illini shooting 46%. Illini have taken a big edge on the glass. They now have a 12 rebound advantage over Illinois, 32-20. With Jake Davis with that big three-pointer the previous possession with the shot clock running down. He just kind of threw that up there. And now Nebraska finds themselves in a 6-point hole with just over 8 minutes to play. Nebraska, 14 three-pointers made tonight, 4 two-pointers. 14 of 29 shooting from beyond the arc. They are just 4 of 16 from two-point range. Tomislav Visic for the Illini. He is just 3 rebounds shy of a double-double. He's got 12 points and 7 rebounds. The Visic brothers have been a big factor for the Illini tonight. They've combined for 19 points. So Nebraska out of the timeout. Will have to come back from a 6-point deficit here. It took a late three-pointer in the game in Champaign back in mid-December. It was the game-winning 3 by Jamarcus Lawrence that won it for Nebraska. Illinois looking to return the favor. We could see these two teams meet again in Chicago in the Big Ten tournament. Cornhuskers inbound as Jamarcus Lawrence brings it up across the midcourt stripe. Finds Cale Jacobson off to Sanford. Lawrence. And he lost the ball out of bounds. Great defense by Wagler. Forces a Nebraska turnover. And with 7:54 to go in the second half, we've hit the under 8 timeout. 58-52. Illinois leads Nebraska, and Illinois will have possession out of the timeout. Gave you some men's basketball scores across the country. Let's quickly run down the women's basketball scoreboard here, as much of what we can during this timeout. Told you about number 1 UConn 96-66 win over number 15 Tennessee. We got a top 10 matchup going on out in Westwood. Number 2 UCLA and number 8 Iowa, and it is all brewing. 64-45, UCLA leading Iowa in the fourth quarter, I should say. Red River rivalry, top 10 showdown between Texas and Oklahoma. Number 4 Texas over number 10 Oklahoma, 78-70, that final score. Number 5 Vanderbilt leading Florida in the fourth quarter, 65-51. Number 6 LSU wallops number 24 Alabama, 103-63. Number 7 Louisville gets the win out at Cal, 71-59. And the Michigan State battle, top 13 battle in East Lansing, it goes to number 9 Michigan over number 13 Michigan State in overtime. 94-91, the final score in that one. Number 11, Ohio State in action coming up here in about 20 minutes at home against Nebraska. Number 12, TCU falls at number 21, Texas Tech, 62-60. Final score in that one. Number 14, Baylor falls at number 22, West Virginia, 70-60. And number 18, Kentucky, a win at Arkansas, 93-73. Number 20, Duke defeats Wake Forest, 80-44. And coming up later out in Seattle, actually in about 20 minutes from now, number 25, Washington will host Illinois. That's the top 25 scoreboard around the women's college basketball. And here it is 58-52 Illinois with 7:54 remaining. And Illinois will have the ball here out of the timeout. Folks, excuse me for just 2 seconds. I'm going to turn a light on here real quick. It is Illinois ball out of the timeout. Got real dark in here all of a sudden. Here's a three-pointer off the inbound. No good. Offensive rebound, however, for the Illini. And a fresh 20 on the clock. Wagler outside. Here's another three. That's short. Another offensive rebound for the Illini. Their third shot at it this possession. Wagler on the outside. 10 to shoot. Wagler drives inside. Wagler's fouled, and he will go back to the free throw line. Got Rink masked on the foul. That'll be his first. And Keaton Wagler has 2 free throws for the Illini. First of 2 up and good. 16 on the game now for Wagler. This to push the lead to 8. And good. Largest lead of the game at 8 points for the Illini, 60-52. 7:15 remaining. Cale Jacobson. Now Sanford. Over to Jamarcus Lawrence, rather. That's the third time I think this year I've done that in a Nebraska game. There's a rejection underneath. Stojakovic with it for the Illini as they look for the double-digit lead for the first time. Stojakovic over to Wagler. Wagler, three-pointer, top of the key is good and one. No, not and one, excuse me. I could have swore I saw a foul there. But nonetheless, Wagler with a 3, and it's an 11-point lead all of a sudden for the Illini, 63-52. Frager with a big 3 to answer for Nebraska. That gives him 20. 63-55, Illinois. Nebraska going to have to come up with some defensive stops here. Stojakovic inside against Jamarcus Lawrence. That is an and one for Stojakovic. Jamarcus Lawrence picks up his third foul. Stojakovic looks to complete the three-point play. As Illinois looks to push the lead back to 11 again. Five points for Stojakovic, make it 6 as he completes the three-point play with the free throw, and the Illinois lead is back to 11 as we hit the 6-minute mark here in the second half. There's Frager. Finds Sanford. Sanford's had a quiet second half here for Nebraska. Back over to Frager. Frager dribbled it right off his foot. And Nebraska able to get the timeout. before losing possession. Boy, Frager just dribbled that right off his foot. Luckily for Nebraska, Buyuk Tunjil was there to retrieve the ball and able to get the timeout called to save the possession for Nebraska. Only problem with that is they're down to one timeout now. This is a critical stage in this game with Nebraska down by 11. Still plenty of time, 5:47 to go. But Nebraska here has been held to 16 points in the second half. So they've been outscored by 17 here in the second half, 33-16. Cornhuskers bring it in. Frager will try a three-pointer. That's short. Offensive rebound, however, for the Cornhuskers and a fresh 20. Frager will try again from the other side. That's no good, and we have a foul going against Illinois. I think they're going to get Humrickhouse with his third. Yeah, Humrickhouse got his arm tangled around Buyuk Tunjil right there. 15th foul the second half on the Illini as Merkovic returns for Illinois, as here he comes in with for Humrickhouse with the 3 fouls. Jamarcus Lawrence inside gets the layup to go as he found a lane underneath and found it for the layup, 66-57. Illinois lead is 9. Lawrence now with 10. Here's Wagler. Off to Avicic. Back outside to Wagler. Again, the shot clock down to 10 for Illinois. Wagler on the drive. Wagler puts it up with the right hand, gets the roll. It kind of hung up there before dropping through. Wagler with 22, 68-57. Lawrence gets free for a three-pointer, but we are going to have an offensive foul against the Cornhuskers. Looks like a moving screen they called. It's like they got Buyuk Tunjil on the moving screen, so that'll be his third foul. Merkovic brings it up for the Illini. Off to Wagler. Wagler with it. Wagler driving. Wagler underneath. Too high on the pass to Avicic. And Nebraska takes it away. Hoiberg, coast to coast reverse layup is good. And one for Hoiberg. He took it the distance. Got the layup to go and drew the foul on Merkovic. And Hoiberg will head to the line to try to complete the three-point play. That is the 6th Illinois team foul, too. So for each Illinois foul here on out for the rest of the game, Nebraska will be at the free throw line. Nebraska already at 7 fouls. Hoiberg completes the three-point play to cut it to 8. 68-60. Wagler crosses the midcourt stripe as we are down to 4:15 remaining. Humrickhouse back in for Illinois with 3 fouls. Here's Avicic. Tomislav Avicic throws it across the way. Humrickhouse for 3. No. Rebound Nebraska. Humrickhouse had a pretty good look, but it rimmed out. Hoiberg to Frager. Frager on the drive. Frager spins back out to Hoiberg. Hoiberg gets inside. Good defense that time by Merkovic. Forces Hoiberg to throw it back outside. Now Frager with 8 on the shot clock. Frager off the hands and an Illini steal. 3.5 to play. There will be a timeout at the next whistle, the under 4. And which is right now, as we have a reach-in foul on Sam Hoiberg. That'll be his third. It'll be a 1-1 for Illinois out of the under 4 timeout. 68-60, Illini. I like the comment on the live chat by the Cartwright Nation. Can this goofy Husker team just win already? This has got to be... I've seen about 3 or 4 Nebraska games on my live streams this year now, and of the games I've seen, and I'm going to venture to say for most of the year, this is probably the best defensive effort a team has put out against Nebraska all season long. Michigan had a great second half against them the other night, but as far as a full game goes, this is probably the best defensive effort thrown against the Cornhuskers all season long. As Nebraska, they have been held in check here in this second half. Illini has their number this game, Michael Dean. Yeah, I mean, this thing's far from over. We know the kind of offense Nebraska has. But I know I've actually got a couple of Illinois fans I talk to on a regular basis on my social media, and they said they probably are right. They should have won the first game against Nebraska. They shot themselves in the foot a couple times, let Nebraska stay in it, and allowed Nebraska to get that second shot to beat them in Champaign. So the Illini had a little bit of a chip on their shoulder after that game, and are coming in here to Lincoln and wanting to return the favor. As both games between these two teams this year have been fantastic. And like I say, they could be meeting a third time here in about a month and a half in Chicago in the Big Ten tournament. I wouldn't mind seeing Illinois-Nebraska round 3. But a little bit of unfinished business to take care of here first for the Illini as they lead by 8 with just under 3.5 to play. Nebraska's down to 41% shooting from the floor. They're just 4 for 12 from three-point range here in the second half after hitting 11 in the first half. It'll be a 1-1 here for Illinois. Illinois with 2 timeouts remaining. Nebraska has 1. 1-1 for Keaton Wagler. First free throw is good. Wagler with 23 now. And this to put Illinois back up double digits. And he does. Wagler now a perfect 6 of 6 at the free throw line. 10-point lead for the Illini. 3:15 to go. Here's Jamarcus Lawrence. Lawrence into the corner is Hoiberg. Now Hoiberg drives inside, gets underneath, and scores the layup. Sam Hoiberg now in double figures with 11, and now Nebraska throwing some press on the inbound. Wagler able to break it and bring it across the midcourt stripe. Wagler now guarded by Lawrence. Wagler finds Humrickhouse. 10 to shoot for the Illini. Back to Wagler. Wagler driving, now spinning. Wagler kicks it outside. Merkovic puts it on the ground, and a three-pointer at the shot clock buzzer is short. Rebound pulled down by the Cornhuskers. Frager thought about the three. And now a three-pointer on the way is no good. That was a little bit of a forced shot. I think Nebraska could have got a little better look than that. Wagler will walk it up the floor as the Illini can take the clock under 2 minutes this possession. And we've got a reach-in foul on the Cornhuskers. This will be a 1-1. It'll be the last 1-1 as it's the 9th team foul. Buyuk Tunjul, I think. Yes, he did. He just got his 4th foul. Nebraska has played so sloppy this half. It's rested. Yeah, this is, like I say, I think this is one of the best defensive ever. And the Illinois defense has a lot to do with that. Wagler heading back to the line for a 1-1. And he hits the first. Illini look to go back up by 10. Time starting to become a factor here with 2:09 on the clock. Illini have done very well at the free throw line today, 14 of 17. Nebraska's only shot 3 free throws this game. Wagler missed the second, his first miss at the line. Nebraska down 9, 2 minutes to play. Here's Lawrence. Lawrence gets it off to Mast for a deep 3. That's no good. Rink Mast still scoreless. Now 0 for 8 from the floor. Again, he missed the Michigan game on Tuesday with the flu. Wonder if he's still not 100%. And there's a foul on Nebraska. And now it'll be 2 shots, as that's the double bonus. Frager with the foul. And Illinois looks to go back up by double digits. And Nebraska in danger here of dropping back-to-back games after their 20-0 start. And Keaton Wagler, who's basically lived at the free throw line the last 2 minutes. First one is good. What a game for Keaton Wagler, now 25, trying to make it 26. One more coming for Wagler. And good. 26 for Wagler. 11, the Illini lead, 100 seconds remaining. Hoiberg on the drive, gets free, and 1. That's the last thing you want to do if you're Illinois. Boy, Hoiberg had the wide open lane there. If you're Illinois, once he gets down that low, you just got to let it ride there. Jake Davis on the foul for Illinois, and Hoiberg a chance to make it a 3-point play. And Hoiberg missed the free throw, and ball loose. It's Illinois ball with 1:35 to play. Now, up until this year, that used to go to automatic review if there was a question with under 2 minutes left. That's no longer the case. You have to challenge, and that's clearly off Hoiberg, though. Illini break the midcourt stripe. Merkovic back to Davis, and the Illini playing keep away here. Well, Nebraska's already let half the shot clock go down. He may as well play it out now. Wagler off to Davis. 6 on the shot clock for the Illini. Merkovic. Stojakovic with 2 on the clock. The runner inside won't go. Follow won't go. But we have a foul on the Cornhuskers on the rebound attempt by Merkovic. Sam Hoiberg picks up his 4th. And Merkovic will head to the free throw line for Illinois. First free throw is good. Merkovic now trying to get to double figures with the second free throw. He would be the 4th Illini player to reach double figures if he can get this second one in. And he does. 75-64 Illini. 1 minute to play. Hoiberg spins and will miss the layup. Offensive rebound, Mast. That's an and one for Rink Mast. And Rink Mast finally on the board with his first 2 points. Merkovic on the foul. That's his second. And Rink Mast trying to complete the 3-point play to bring Nebraska within 8. 55 seconds to play. Mast hits the free throw. 75-67. Cale Jacobson returns to the Nebraska lineup. Illini get it into Wagler. Wagler draws a double team, and he's going to have to take a timeout here. As Wagler had nowhere to go with that throw, Illinois did have 2 timeouts. So both teams will now be down to 1. 52.8 on the clock. But it's the Illini's leading scorer on the season, Keaton Wagler, with another big game this afternoon. 27 points. For the freshman out of Shawnee, Kansas. Illini have outscored Nebraska by 14 here in the second half. And the Illini are 52.8 seconds away from evening the score this season with Nebraska. And handing Nebraska their first home loss of the season. And it comes to Wagler, who's immediately fouled by Price Sanford. And Wagler will head right back to the free throw line. Fred Hoiberg saying, where's the foul there? Yeah, he got him on the arm. Wagler heads to the free throw line. First is good. Wagler now 9 of 10 at the line. Rink Mast back in for Nebraska for Jacobson. Offense-defense substitution. Wagler missed the second, so it's 76-67. Hoiberg. And on to Mast. Mast jumper in the paint is good. 76-69. It's down to a 7-point game. Timeout Nebraska. This will be their last timeout. With 42.4 seconds remaining. So this one not over quite yet. Illinois is in the double bonus, so it'll be 2 free throws for Illinois. Iburn, I need Nebraska not to lose by 9. Well, it's 7 right now at 42.4. And I can pretty much guarantee you will see some Nebraska press on the inbound. Illini come out with Stojakovic, Davis, Wagler, Humrickhouse, and Merkovic out on the floor. Nebraska with Hoiberg, Sanford, Lawrence, Frager, and Jacobson. Illini to inbound. Again, they do have one timeout remaining in case they can't get the ball in. And still looking, and finally able to get it in. Now a double TO, and they're going to get a foul. That was a near steal by Nebraska, but they're going to get the foul on Jamarcus Lawrence. Nebraska almost had the steal on the inbound right there. To the line goes Stojakovic, an 82% shooter, and hits the first. And back in comes Mast, I'm sure, for Jacobson. One more free throw coming for Stojakovic. Got it. 78-69. 40.7 to go. Nebraska's going to have to get some three-point shots to drop now and hope Illinois misses some free throws. Hoiberg runs into his own man, retreats, but they're taking a lot of time right here. Frager tries a three-pointer. That's no good. Rebound, Illinois. And clearing it out, and the Illini, as Nebraska is not going to foul, and the Illini with a huge road win in Lincoln, as they will avenge their earlier season loss to the Cornhuskers. And the team split the season series as Illinois hands Nebraska their second straight loss, while Illinois wins for the 11th consecutive time. 78-69, the final. A hard-fought win for the Illini in Lincoln this afternoon. Over the Nebraska Cornhuskers, Illinois improves to 19-3 overall, 10-1 in the Big Ten. They are tied with Michigan atop the Big Ten standings. Nebraska drops their second in a row and falls to 20-2 overall, 9-2 in the Big Ten. They fall into a third-place tie with Michigan State. Great win on the road for the Illini, 78-69. Let's run down some final stats in this one. Illini shoot 24 of 54 from the field for 44%. They were 9 of 30 from three-point range at 30%. 21 of 26 at the free throw line for 81%. For Nebraska, they were 25 of 59, 42%. 15 of 35 from three-point range at 43%. However, they were just 4 for 15 from beyond the arc in the second half. 4 of 5. They only shot 5 free throws tonight. Made 4 of them for 80%. Rebound edge for the Illini, 40-27. Both teams turned it over 8 times tonight. Individual numbers, Illini were led by Keaton Wagler's 28 points, 23 of those coming in the second half. He went 7 of 15 shooting, 10 of 12 at the free throw line, 28 points for the leading scorer of the Illini this season. Keaton Wagler led the way again with 28 tonight. They put 4 in double figures. 13 points out of Jake Davis. Tomislava Visic added 12. 10 points out of David Merkovic. 8 points out of Andrei Stojakovic. And 7 points out of Zvonimir Visic. For Nebraska, they had 3 in double figures. They were led by Price Sanford's 14 points. Sam Hoiberg added 13, and Jamarcus Lawrence with 10 points. 7 points off the bench for Braden Frager, 5 points out of Rink Mast, 4 out of Cale Jacobson, and 3 for Burke Buyuktunjil. Red Jayhawk never putting money on Nebraska again. Nah, that's just still a very good team. They just ran into a buzzsaw in Illinois today, who was obviously wanting some payback from that game in Champaign earlier in the year. As Illinois gets the road win in Lincoln, 78-69, the final again. The Illini moved to 18-3 on the season. 19-3, I beg your pardon. 10-1 in the Big Ten. Nebraska falls to 20-2 on the season, 9-2 in the Big Ten. They are now tied for third with Michigan State, as Illinois and Michigan tied atop the Big Ten standings at 10-1. Well, that's going to wrap it up here on the live stream. I was looking at the view count, a great turnout this afternoon. I appreciate each and every single one of you that tuned in this afternoon. My name is John here on YouTube, Sports Bonanza John. If you do like my content, really would appreciate a like and subscribe from you. It really would help out and mean a lot there. And also on Kick this afternoon at Sports Kick John, you can follow me there. You can also follow me on Twitch at Sport Guru John. I do have some content there. I will be posting some new content on Twitch here coming up here in the near week or so. I will be back again on the live stream, as I mentioned, Tuesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, for the number 21 ranked St. Louis Billikens in action against the Davidson Wildcats. That game is at 9 o'clock Eastern time. We'll try to be on before that at 6:30 for undefeated Miami of Ohio and Buffalo. That one's pending, but for sure we'll be on 9 o'clock Tuesday night for St. Louis and Davidson. The next live stream on the page. Going to have a lot of college basketball live streams coming up here through the month of February, as we are just about a month away from getting conference tournament action underway, as March will be here in a month. Get you ready for NCAA tournament, conference tournaments, as we've got a month left in the regular season. So going to be a lot of college basketball on this live stream over this next month. Again, appreciate each and every single one of you that tuned in on the live chat. Enjoyed watching the live chat. Enjoyed talking to all of you. And hopefully you could join me again on Tuesday night for St. Louis and Davidson. Some A10 action, as the Billikens, who will no doubt be in the top 20 when the new AP poll comes out tomorrow, in action against Davidson. Appreciate you joining me. And again, we will talk to you on Tuesday night for St. Louis and Davidson, if not before, for Miami of Ohio and Buffalo. Appreciate you joining me today, everybody. Have a great Sunday.